Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the text of Joshua chapter 6 to look at what is arguably one of the most famous military encounters in all of ancient history, the fall of Jericho. Now, to set the scene for you, the text tells us that the city of Jericho was strictly shut up because of the children of Israel, and I mean literally locked down tight. Absolutely no one went out and nobody came in. You can almost feel the tension right from that very first verse, right? So that begs the question, how exactly do you conquer an impenetrable, completely locked down city without a single siege weapon? It's a massive problem, and the Lord's instructions to Joshua, well, they're entirely bizarre by any conventional military standard. He actually promises victory over the king and his mighty men of valor, but get this, the strategy doesn't involve battering rams or scaling ladders. No way. Instead, it relies on this highly unorthodox method of just marching and music. Section 1. An unconventional strategy. The marching orders. Okay, let's dive into this and break down the exact tactics they used for the first 6 days. The Israelites were commanded to compass, or basically circle, the city once a day, and they did it in this highly specific, sequential order. First up, you've got the armed men leading the way. Second, 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets made of ram's horns. Third, the Ark of the Covenant, which represented the very presence of the Lord. And finally, the rearward, basically the rear guard, coming up right behind the Ark. But here is where this whole strategy turns into an absolute masterclass in psychological warfare. Joshua gives this incredibly strict command. Ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth until the day I bid you shout. I mean, just think about the intense discipline required for that. You have a massive army circling an impenetrable city in dead silence, save for the crunch of their footsteps and the continuous, haunting blowing of the ram's horns by the priests. It's totally meant to unnerve the people inside and create this eerie, heavy tension. And this actually brings us to a brilliantly illustrated theme in the text, the incredibly heavy reliance on the number 7 to build this escalating rhythm. Think about it. We have 7 priests carrying 7 trumpets of ram's horns, marching for 7 days, and, as we're going to see in just a second, eventually completing 7 laps. It kind of creates this powerful, almost divine countdown clock. Section 2, the 7th day climax, the final march. So after 6 long days of absolute silence, the momentum shifts radically. Right at dawn on the 7th day, Israel rises early. But this time, they don't just circle once. They compass the city 7 times. And on that final pivotal 7th lap, the priests blow a long blast with the ram's horns. And that is when Joshua finally breaks the silence. He commands the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. And the people just unleash this massive, great shout. And here it is, the absolute climax of the narrative. The text states it so simply but incredibly powerfully. The wall fell down flat. That's it. There's no protracted, grueling battle at the gates. The walls literally just collapse flat, allowing the Israelites to ascend up into the city, every single man straight before him, and completely take Jericho. Section 3. Destruction, Salvation, and Curses. The Rules of Conquest. Now, what's really interesting here is the aftermath of the siege. It's governed by this really stark contrast. On one hand, everything deemed accursed faced absolute, uncompromising destruction by the edge of the sword. Man, woman, young, old, ox, sheep, and ass, and the entire city was just burnt with fire. But on the other hand, there are some very strict exceptions. All the silver, gold, brass, and iron, those are consecrated strictly to the Lord's treasury. And most notably, Rahab the harlot and her household are specifically ordered to be saved. Let's look at how that actually played out. Joshua honors his oath to the woman who had previously hid his messengers. He sends the 2 young spies right back into her house. They bring out Rahab, her parents, her brethren, and all her kindred, and they safely leave them outside the camp of Israel. The text beautifully notes that because she hid those messengers, she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day. But for the city of Jericho itself, there's absolutely no restoration. We're going to wrap up our explainer today with this chilling final curse delivered by Joshua, which outright forbids anyone from ever rebuilding the city. The cost of doing so? It would literally be the lives of the builders' firstborn and youngest sons. The text concludes by noting that the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout the whole country. So it leaves us with this really haunting image to think about. What must it have been like to stand there, looking out upon those flattened, smoking ruins, knowing the terrible, unthinkable cost of trying to raise them up again? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep seeking the structures behind the stories.